Hello, coin collectors and history enthusiasts. Welcome back to AZ Coins News. First up, we have an exciting coin to discuss, the 1987 Monticello Jefferson nickel with P mint mark, featuring a dark brown patina and in very fine condition. We'll explore its history, design, special features, and, most importantly, its collector's market value today. Stay tuned as we break it all down. Before we analyze the 1987 Jefferson nickel, let's go back to its roots. The Jefferson nickel series started in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was introduced to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Designed by Felix Schlag, the nickel has remained a staple in American currency for over 8 decades. In 1987, the U.S. Mint continued producing this classic design, and today we're looking at one specific variety, the 1987 with P mint mark Monticello nickel, which holds a unique appeal for collectors. On the obverse side, we see a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. This portrait has been a consistent element of the Jefferson nickel series since 1938. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust" on the left, "Liberty" and the year 1987 on the right, and a small P mint mark above the date, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Flipping to the reverse, we see the depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. The word Monticello is inscribed beneath the image, while 5 cents and United States of America encircle the bottom. At the top, we see the nation's motto, E pluribus unum. This classic design remains one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. One of the most distinctive features of some 1987 with P mint mark Jefferson nickels is the natural dark brown patina that forms over time. This oxidation occurs due to environmental exposure and storage conditions. While some collectors prefer bright, lustrous finishes, others appreciate the aged, toned look of coins like this. So how much is this coin worth today? The value of a 1987 with P mint mark Jefferson nickel in very fine condition varies based on demand and rarity. Typically in very fine condition with some toning, it can be worth $95,000. However, in uncirculated condition with full steps on Monticello, it could fetch $98,000 or even more if certified by a top grading service. For those looking to invest in Jefferson nickels, the 1987 with P mint mark is still widely available, but finding one with a beautiful, even patina can make it stand out in a collection. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1987 Monticello Jefferson nickel with P mint mark. Whether you collect for historical appreciation or investment potential, this coin remains a fascinating piece of numismatic history. Next up today, we're diving deep into a classic piece of American numismatic history, the 1962 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D mint mark. If you have one with brown spots and in very fine condition, stay tuned because we'll explore its history, design, unique features, and most importantly, its current collector's market value. Let's get started. Before we analyze this coin, let's take a moment to understand the time period it comes from. The year 1962 was an important one for America. It was the height of the space race, John F. Kennedy was the president, and the Cold War was in full swing. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint in Denver was busy striking millions of Jefferson nickels, including the one we're talking about today. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It was designed by Felix Schlag, whose iconic rendition of Thomas Jefferson has remained largely unchanged on U.S. coinage for decades. The obverse side features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Above his head, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, followed by the year 1962. To the left, you'll notice the famous motto, "In God We Trust." The design remains a tribute to one of America's founding fathers. Flipping to the reverse side, we see Jefferson's home, Monticello. The word Monticello is inscribed beneath the detailed image of the grand estate. Above it, the phrase "e pluribus unum" is prominently displayed, meaning out of many, one. Below Monticello, you'll find 5 cents and United States of America. The D Mint mark, which signifies it was struck in Denver, appears to the right of Monticello. Many older nickel coins, including this one, develop brown spots over time due to oxidation or exposure to environmental elements. While these spots can lower the aesthetic appeal, they don't always significantly impact the coin's value if it remains in very fine condition. These discolorations are common in coins that have been circulated or stored in improper conditions. So, how much is this coin worth today? The value of a 1962 with D Mint mark Jefferson nickel depends on its condition. In very fine condition, with some visible wear and minor discoloration, it generally sells for $140,000. However, if you have one in uncirculated or mint state condition, it can fetch anywhere $142,000, with higher graded pieces reaching even more. Proof or exceptionally well-preserved specimens have been known to sell for over $146,000 at auctions. For those looking to invest in Jefferson nickels, this 1962 with D Mint mark edition remains a desirable piece, especially if found in pristine condition with full steps on Monticello, a rare trait that greatly increases value. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1962 with D Mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. Even with brown spots, this coin holds a fascinating place in numismatic history and continues to attract collectors. Next up today, we're taking a deep dive into a fascinating and historic U.S. coin, the Monticello Jefferson nickel 5 cents from 1960, featuring the D Mint mark and green spots in fine condition. Stay tuned as we explore its history, design, unique features, and its collector market value today. Let's get started. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The coin was designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This particular 1960 with D Mint mark nickel was minted in Denver and is part of the long-running series that has become a staple of American coinage. In 1960, the U.S. Mint produced Jefferson nickels at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the latter being denoted by the with D Mint mark on the reverse side. The Denver Mint struck over 192 million nickels that year, making it a fairly common coin, though condition and errors can significantly impact value. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. The inscriptions include "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1960. This portrait has remained a classic symbol of American coinage for decades. Turning to the reverse side, we see an image of Jefferson's Monticello home, also designed by Felix Schlag. Above it, we have the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," while below it reads, "Monticello, 5 cents, United States of America," and in this case, with D Mint mark. Some of these nickels develop greenish spots over time. This is typically due to oxidation or prolonged exposure to moisture, affecting the coin's overall appearance. While it does impact grading, these spots do not always significantly lower the coin's value, especially for rare varieties. So what is this coin worth today? The value of a 1960 D Jefferson nickel with green spots in fine condition ranges $154,000. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated condition, prices can go $157,000, and rare varieties or error coins can fetch even higher premiums. For collectors, this coin remains an affordable yet historically significant piece of American currency. If you happen to have one in exceptional condition, it could be worth much more. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1960 with D-Mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. Even with green spots, this coin holds immense historical and numismatic value. Next up, we're diving into a classic piece of American coinage, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. If you have one without a mint mark and in fine condition with brown and black shades, stay tuned because we'll explore its history, design, special features, and most importantly, its collector's market value today. Let's get started. To understand this coin, we need to go back to the origins of the Jefferson nickel series. First introduced in 1938, this 5-cent coin replaced the Buffalo nickel and was designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third president of the United States. The Jefferson nickel became a long-standing piece of U.S. currency, with its design staying largely unchanged for decades. By 1963, the U.S. economy was thriving, and nickels played a significant role in everyday transactions. The 1963 Jefferson nickel was struck in large numbers, but due to circulation and environmental exposure, many of these coins have developed unique brown and black toning over time. The obverse side of the 1963 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. His name does not appear on the coin, but the sharp details of his profile, including his wavy hair and stoic expression, make this design instantly recognizable. The inscriptions read, "In God we trust, liberty," and the year 1963. Since this coin lacks a mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, flipping to the reverse side, we see Jefferson's beloved home, Monticello. The architectural details of this neoclassical estate are beautifully captured, with the building's iconic dome prominently displayed. The inscriptions include E pluribus unam, Monticello 5 sentence, and United States of America. One of the unique aspects of some 1963 Jefferson nickels is the natural toning they develop over time. Due to oxidation and exposure to environmental factors, some coins take on brown or black shades. While toning is common in older coins, the presence of darker hues can affect both visual appeal and market value. So, how much is this coin worth today? The value of the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel depends on its condition. In fine condition with brown and black shades, it typically sells for $148,000. However, if you have one in uncirculated or proof condition, the price can range anywhere $152,000, with some premium examples fetching even higher prices. For collectors, full steps on Monticello, meaning a well-struck, detailed reverse, can significantly boost the coin's value. These coins in MS65 or higher grades can sell for over $80,000, making them highly desirable among numismatists. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel. It's a classic piece of U.S. coinage, and even if it has brown and black toning, it still holds numismatic and historical significance. Next up, we have an exciting discussion about a special and historic coin, the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D-Mint mark, exhibiting an unusual black and golden shade. We'll explore its fascinating history, detailed design, key features, and most importantly, its collector market value today. If you have one of these in fine condition, you might be in for a surprise. So, let's jump right in. The year 1964 was a crucial time in U.S. coinage history. The country was experiencing a coin shortage, primarily due to silver hoarding, which led to increased minting of coins like the nickel. To address this issue, the U.S. Mint produced an exceptionally high number of Jefferson nickels, over 1 billion in total. This made the 1964 issue one of the most widely produced in the series. However, many coins from this year have developed unique toning over time, including the striking black and golden shade we see on some specimens today. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design was chosen through a public competition, with Felix Schlag's rendition winning the selection. The 1964 issue was one of the last to feature Schlag's original design before modifications were introduced in later years. The obverse side of the 1964 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. The word Liberty appears to the right with the date 1964 adjacent to it. Below Jefferson's neck you'll find the small letter D, signifying that this coin was minted in Denver. Flipping to the reverse side, we see an elegant depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. Above it, the words E pluribus unum are inscribed, while Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America are positioned below. This classic design has been a staple of U.S. coinage for decades. Now, what makes some of these 1964 Jefferson nickels unique? Over time, many coins develop natural toning due to oxidation and environmental factors. Some 1964 nickels exhibit a fascinating black and golden shade, often resulting from exposure to varying temperatures, moisture, or certain storage conditions. A factory-applied feature, this natural patina can make a coin visually striking and more desirable to collectors. So, what's the value of a 1964 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark in today's market? Well, it depends on the condition and any unique characteristics like toning. In fine condition, standard examples typically sell for $136,000, given their limited mintage. However, coins with unusual black and golden toning can fetch premium prices, especially if they have strong eye appeal. If you have one in uncirculated condition or with a full-step Monticello design, meaning all of the stairs are clearly visible, it could be worth anywhere $138,000, with rare specimens exceeding that mark in auctions. Proof-like versions and special errors from this year also command higher value. That wraps up our look at the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D mint mark. Whether you have one in fine condition with black and golden toning or a high-grade version, this coin remains an essential part of U.S. numismatic history. What do you think about this unique coin? Do you have one in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. Next up today, we're going to explore a classic piece of American coinage, the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel, featuring the Denver mint mark in a unique black shade. If you have one of these in fine condition, stay tuned as we uncover its history, design, key features, and its current value in the collector's market. Let's get started. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, this coin has remained an essential part of U.S. currency. The 1963 edition marked the final year before a significant design revision in 1964. This specific 1963 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by with D mint mark on the reverse. The year 1963 was a transitional period in American coinage, as the demand for coins increased, and the mint was preparing for the changes in metal compositions in later years. Now let's take a closer look at the design of this historical nickel. The obverse side features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag in 1938. The inscriptions around the portrait include, "In God we trust" to the left, "Liberty" to the right, followed by the year 1963. The detail in Jefferson's hair and facial features can help determine the condition and grading of the coin. Turning to the reverse, we see Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. The structure is depicted in fine detail, and above it is the word Monticello. Below, the denomination is marked as 5 sentences of America. Encircles the bottom. The D mint mark, signifying its origin from the Denver Mint, is found to the right of Monticello. Some collectors might notice a dark, almost blackened shade on certain 1963 Jefferson nickels. This discoloration can be due to oxidation, environmental exposure, or the coin's storage conditions over decades. This affects the coin's appearance. It does necessarily devalue it if the details remain intact. Some collectors even find these unique patinas aesthetically appealing. Now, let's talk value. In fine condition, a 1963 with D-Mint mark Jefferson nickel with some wear and a black shade typically sells for $142,000. However, if you have one in uncirculated or mint state condition, it could be worth anywhere $144,000 or more, depending on its strike quality and overall appearance. Proof versions and rare error coins can fetch significantly higher prices. If you have a well-preserved piece with sharp details and minimal wear, grading it professionally could boost its value. Collectors and investors seek high-quality specimens, and certain rare variations can sell for even higher amounts at auctions. That wraps up our detailed look at the 1963 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D-Mint mark and black shade. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is a fascinating piece of U.S. history with solid collector value. Next up, we're diving deep into a fascinating and historically significant coin, the 1969 with D-Mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. If you have one with gray and silver shading in very fine condition, you might be wondering about its value in today's collector market. Well, stick around because we'll cover its history, design, special features, and market value. Let's get started. Before we discuss the 1969 with D-Mint mark nickel, let's take a quick look at the history behind the Jefferson nickel series. The Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, this 5-cent coin features Thomas Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the United States and the third president. His influence on the country's early years made him a fitting choice for the nation's currency. Between 1942 and 1945, wartime nickels were minted with a silver-based alloy to save nickel for military use. However, by 1946, the U.S. Mint returned to the original copper-nickel composition. The 1969 with D-Mint mark nickel continues this standard and is an important piece in American numismatic history. Let's talk about the design of this classic coin. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear along the rim, with the year 1969 next to Jefferson's profile. Flipping the coin, we see Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, depicted in an elegant and detailed engraving. The words "E pluribus unum" appear above, with Monticello 5 cents United States of America, and the D-Mint mark indicating that it was struck at the Denver Mint. One unique feature collectors notice in some 1969 with D-Mint mark Jefferson nickels is the gray and silver toning. This can be caused by oxidation, environmental exposure, or natural toning over decades. This does increase the intrinsic value of the coin. It adds a unique aesthetic appeal that some collectors appreciate. So, what's the market value of a 1969 with D-Mint mark Jefferson nickel in very fine condition? Generally, these coins range $125,000 in circulated grades. However, if you have one in mint state or proof-like condition, values can go as high as $127,000. Rare errors, such as off-center strikes or double dies, can push values even higher. For collectors, the best way to ensure a coin's value is by getting it graded by professional services. A well-preserved uncirculated 1969 D nickel can be a great addition to any collection. That wraps up our deep dive into the 1969 with D-Mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is a classic piece of American numismatic history. Next up today, we are diving deep into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, minted in 1961 with D mint mark. If you own one in very fine condition with its unique green and silver shade, this video is for you. We'll discuss its history, design, features, and most importantly, its collector's market value today. So let's get started. To appreciate this coin, we must first understand the context in which it was minted. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin honored Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers, the third U.S. president, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. By 1961, the United States was in the midst of the Cold War, and economic changes were influencing coinage production. The Denver Mint struck millions of these nickels, making them common in circulation. However, unique variations, including those with green and silver shades, make some versions of this coin particularly interesting to collectors today. On the obverse, we see a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. Above his head, the inscription reads, "In God We Trust," and to the left we see Liberty alongside the year 1961. If your coin has a D mint mark, it was minted in Denver, and you'll find this small letter located just to the right of Monticello, on the reverse side. Flipping to the reverse side, we find an elegant depiction of Jefferson's Monticello, his Virginia home. Above the building, the word Monticello is inscribed, and below, the denomination 5 cents appears. The country name United States of America is inscribed along the bottom rim, while E pluribus unum sits at the top. One unique aspect of certain 1961 with D mint mark Jefferson nickels is their unusual green and silver toning. This happens due to oxidation or environmental exposure over time, sometimes giving the coin an appealing and collectible patina. Necessarily increase its value significantly, it does add to its uniqueness and desirability among collectors. So, how much is this coin worth today? The value of a 1961 D Monticello Jefferson nickel depends on its condition. In very fine condition with slight wear but visible details, it typically sells for $160,000. However, if you have one in uncirculated or mint state condition, the value can range $165,000. High-grade specimens, especially those graded MS65 or higher, can fetch over $167,000. Varieties can push values even higher. For collectors, nickels from this era remain an accessible and exciting series to collect, with many looking for unique toning, high grades, or rare die varieties. If you have a well-preserved 1961 with D mint mark nickel, it may be worth getting it graded by a professional service to determine its true market potential. That wraps up our deep dive into the Monticello Jefferson nickel 1961 with D mint mark edition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is a great piece of history to own. Next up today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1963, without mint mark, in very fine condition, featuring a golden shade and black dots. Stay tuned as we explore its history, design, special features, and most importantly, its collector's market value today. Let's get started. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, this series remains a staple in American coinage. The 1963 nickel, produced just before the introduction of clad coinage, represents one of the last years of full nickel composition before major shifts in U.S. currency. The 1963 Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia and Denver, but today we're focusing on the version without mint mark, which means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This coin was produced in massive quantities. but variations like golden toning and black spots make certain pieces unique to collectors. The obverse of the coin, designed by Felix Schlag, features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Above his head we see the inscription, "In God We Trust," while Liberty and the year 1963 are positioned along the right rim. On the reverse side we have a detailed depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's famous estate in Virginia. Above it, E pluribus unum is inscribed, and below it, Monticello is prominently displayed. Underneath, the denomination 5 cents and United States of America complete the design. Some of these nickels develop an unusual golden hue due to oxidation or prolonged exposure to certain environmental conditions. Combined with small black dots caused by metal impurities or aging, this gives the coin a distinct appearance, making it particularly attractive to some collectors. While these changes are natural, they can influence the coin's desirability in the market. Now let's talk about the value. The price of a 1963 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark varies depending on condition. In very fine condition with its unique golden toning and black dots, this coin can fetch $142,000. However, if you have one in uncirculated or proof-like condition, its value can rise to $146,000 or more, especially if graded by professional services. Collectors often seek out well-preserved examples with unique toning. If you own a high-grade version or one with distinctive coloring, it could be worth even more in today's numismatic market. That wraps up our deep dive into the Monticello Jefferson nickel 5 cents from 1963. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this is a great coin to add to your collection. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more coin content. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!